Alright, dickheads, welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap. Yeah, I just motioned to a blank page. But soon you will see artwod roadmap, right? Artwod. Again, link in description. They're the only reason I can draw like this. Who am I? I'm Viggy. I aim to prove that anybody can draw through sheer effort, repetition, and thousands of hours on the right things, because there are right things to focus on, right? This is currently what I can draw from imagination. I've been drawing for 3 years and almost 6 months, so 3.5 years. Crazy shit. And draw along with me. That's it. And fucking, I think I completely butchered my intro, but draw along. Get your pen, get your paper, draw along. Let's put in as much effort as we possibly can, because the effort is the only thing we can control, and it's the most valuable thing that we can focus on. Right, and yes, please do fuck me as well, right? Like, give me likes, give me attention, give me views. I was just checking what number rep we're on. Give me watch hours, keep me on the background. Yeah, all that shit. Wow, I'm really dead today. Am I? Am I just more quiet? I don't know. I don't know. Anybody want to psychoanalyze my personality? Right. This episode, it seems its inflection was slightly off by 3 decibels. Yes, very much so. Anyways, get your pen, get your paper, draw along, please. Let's put in as much effort as we can. Let's focus on things that are difficult, and let's do our best to, over the course of hundreds of hours, improve those things that are slightly difficult, or very difficult, to be slightly less difficult. Just sipping on my coffee. So yes, anyways, what are we doing? We're doing the artwod portrait roadmap. Again, artwod is literally what was that? What the fuck? I need to slow down, bro. My speech, my slurring, my intonation, my proclivity towards intonating in a very precarious manner of speech, which is sped up because I'm just speaking and hoping the sentence makes sense, but it doesn't. Anyways, I speak fast, TLDR. I need to fix that shit. But yeah, artwod genuinely is the reason I can even draw halfway decent, right? right. Voice crack. But anyways, what are we doing? We're looking at a portrait. We are encompassing the portrait in a box. We're encompassing that box, and we're putting a sphere inside that box. We're putting center lines inside the sphere, inside the box. We're putting center lines on each visible plane of the box. We're putting ellipses on each visible plane of the box, right? Essentially, we're creating a 3D model, right? An intricate 3D model full of calculations and consistent spatial reasonings that are occurring. This is basically what I'm trying to see in my mind. This. Even like this, like these little ones. I don't know if you can see that, right? But I honestly, you know what I need to do? I need to have a fucking I need to have a page which just shows and like writes it out. That's what I need to do. So I can just pull that out every fucking time and just be like, this is exactly what I'm trying to visualize. That's what I'm gonna do. that's for the next time. Tomorrow I'll have that prepared. But anyways, draw along, right? This is to all build spatial reasoning skills, right? So one thing I want to say, I have a few things I want to talk about. Usually the same shit I always do, but this is on my mind right now, right? Is like art is a working memory skill, right? It's a working memory skill. I want to be very clear. Drawing is thinking. I've already started thinking, by the way, so I encourage you to start thinking and drawing in your mind before you even put down the fucking page, like visualizing, being intentful, right? Like trying to hold the multiple things, and for you, it can literally just be a line, by the way, right? Again, the effort you put in does not change. And by the way, like everything you see underneath this page, like all this, like the drawings on the other side, those are obstructions, right? Those are obstructions that get in the way of my visualization. And that's another skill where I need to zoom out. I need to see the correct box. I need to see the correct sphere inside the box. And I'm really trying right now. And see, like right now, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the sphere, and I need to make the sphere bigger as well, because I do want to ensure that my visualization is larger. Thinking about the box, right? And that is obviously based, and it's very difficult trying to put like the correct angle box in the like from the portrait itself, right? I'm thinking about the box, thinking about the sphere, right? This one's very subtle top-down angle as well. Also, I'm doing interleaving, where I'm doing it more appropriate to what it should be, which is interleaving is basically just changing the area of focus on the overall thing that you're learning, right? Consistently, in order for your brain to understand the topic more holistically and more intimately, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, right now, my focus is not portraiture, because portraiture is just a bunch of fucking shapes on top of shapes, right? So we need a solid construction visualized in every single angle possible, right? That is calculated in order to have that construction, the Loomis when I modify it, right? And the features, simple features, and the complex features that I put on top of it to have a solid base at all times that is already been meant, like the mental model, the schema, right? The mental representation of these calculations to be internalized, to be fused into my long-term memory, right? And to be instantaneously constructed, held, and reconstructed when it's lost, right? So that is what the topic is, you know. It's, again, always spatial reasoning, you know. It's not just we're drawing pretty faces, right? We are building a 3D engine in our minds to be able to construct on top of, right? To essentially place things on top of, place more three-dimensional shapes on top of, right? So yeah, like this is actually portrait work more than anything. Not the features, right? Not the pretty face. That is not portrait work. This is portrait work because this is foundational, right? Let me fucking let me poke at the page a little bit more to make my point. But what was I saying? Right? So yeah, like what I was doing is first I was spending the last 50 hours like I was staying at the same angle for a very long time, just building, and but the thing is because I wasn't changing the angle that much, I wasn't interleaving as much, but the work was not wasted because I was still building the ability to construct and refining my construction process. And that actually has made it easier for me to change, not easy, but easier for me to change the angle consistently, because now what I was doing before is I was building the ability to construct the mental model, and now we're building the ability to test the mental model, my understanding. Do I actually know how to construct it in many different angles? And the answer is we're not as well as I need to be, but exactly as well as I should be given the amount of effort that I put in, if that makes sense, right? It's just a reflection of how much effort you put in, right? Right. So this is great. Like this right here, these obstructions, me trying to visualize this, I'm already calculating again. I'm trying to think about a perfect sphere. By the way, when I say I'm trying to think about this, I'm not actually like able to do it well. When I'm saying like I'm trying to visualize a perfect sphere and the box inside of it, this is the sphere that I constantly see. It's like super broken, right? And if you're saying like that doesn't look like a sphere, exactly, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like this is literally what I'm basically seeing. It's kind of broken, and then I'm like, fuck, that's completely wrong. Not in like, oh god, I'm stressed, but just like, oh, okay, that's wrong. Let's try to fix that. But then now this is like wonky, right? Like that side of the sphere. So, and I'm doing it at this scale, right? So that's why I constantly ghost, because ghosting is essentially the cognitive bridge between your motor cortex and your, in this case, your prefrontal cortex, right? Which is the visualization and calculation part. And again, like I'm also trying to see the box inside of it, and I keep getting the orientation wrong. Like this orientation of the box is supposed to be like this. I keep doing this. You see, that's a drastic difference. My brain clearly does not have, currently, what I need to do is train it to have the ability to construct and visualize in the new angle. This is the best part about interleaving. It is literally showcasing the gaps in my ability to construct in a different angle consistently, right? So the construction is not a huge problem, but the ability to change the angle of the construction, I don't know why I said it like that, but the angle of the construction is definitely, it's beautiful. I can spend easily another 50 hours on this, and that's why I'm at 50 to 100 easily. But this is the period of when I was a beginner. This is the same thing, right? This is the period where I spent 100 hours practicing ellipses inside a plane and visualizing ellipses inside a plane, and then convert and beyond that, what the fuck? Beyond that, beyond that, cylinders in a box, right? This is my 100 hours, but much more complex of that. And this, what I mean more than anything is like, this is the repetition that you need to be aware of. Because I always talk about repetitions and shit, but this is the repetition that you need to be aware of. Because right now, because this is a completely new angle, I can't really see the box or the center lines or the center planes, but I'm trying really hard. But the main thing is because this drawing underneath is an obstruction, I need to be aware of that. I need to be aware of that, and I need to be I need to, what the fuck am I trying to say? I need to, hold up, what angle is this in? Oh, it's like, this is like super subtle, right? Super subtle. Yeah, it's extremely subtle. It's literally like this. See, I love these subtle angles because they basically tell me to go fuck myself. Like it's basically a beautiful way to, and like this has already made things a lot easier in terms of visualizing, but you see, like I couldn't really visualize this, but I love these angles because they basically challenge the subtlety and the actual understanding of this mental model, right, that I'm trying to build. But this is actually good because I'm really thinking right now. I know it doesn't, I mean, you can't tell that I'm thinking, but that's why I'm explaining. Like I'm thinking, my brain is actively, my working memory is working really hard to see the sphere, the perfect sphere inside of this, right? And while I'm trying to see the perfect sphere inside of this, I'm also trying to get the box's size and orientation correct. And I know, like, I know that right now I'm zooming in on this line, like I'm looking there, but again, it has to be holistic, right? It has to be holistically understood. So this is like right now, the biggest difficulty my brain has right now is understanding the subtlety of this and the fact that the curve is just barely hitting the top edge, like of the sphere, right? Because right now my brain wants to do this. It wants to, like, it sees this and it wants to be like, no, it's like that. And that doesn't make any sense because now the sphere is not in perspective. It's not inside the box anymore, right? And again, like, I have to understand it's a perfect sphere. A sphere is a perfect circle. Yeah, not a perfect sphere, but like I need to understand that, and I need to understand the subtlety as well. And while I do all of this, I'm constantly trying to calculate the center line here, constantly trying to calculate the center line here, right? Constantly trying to calculate the center ellipse, the center ellipse. There's a lot of things to think about. I'm grinding the fuck out of my brain, right? And that's another thing I wanted to say is like the word grind really does have a negative connotation. This, I don't even know if this is what I want to talk about today because I'm all over the place because I'm thinking really hard. You need to know, like, I'm thinking extremely hard right now, right? To see those dozens of calculations, right? My working memory is already taxed, and this is exactly where you want to be in. This extreme discomfort, this is the goal, all right? This discomfort. It's not pain, it's not torture, it is simply discomfort, right? And of course, discomfort is uncomfortable. Your brain is not used to it. You will actively avoid discomfort. My brain, every time I try to focus, by the way, every time I try to do this thing that's uncomfortable, my brain is constantly looking for shortcuts, which is why you have to will it. You have to force it into existence, right? Just the feeling of pushing beyond what your brain is like, no, please, do not try this hard, right? No, it's like, because I can tell you right now, the amount of times I've tried to see the sphere in the box, and then my brain just doesn't even want to calculate the center line. I have to be consciously aware of the fact of everything my brain is avoiding doing, right? And especially because this is a new mental model. My brain is actively avoiding zooming out while seeing the box, while calculating the center line here, calculating the center line here. It hasn't even been calculating the center line at the top because these extreme angles, I just haven't trained myself, and just now I'm being much more aware and verbalizing the fact that it's actively not putting effort towards that, right? And if that sounds like, what the fuck, that's a lot of different calculations he's doing, that must be really taxing on his working memory. Yes, right? You probably weren't thinking that, but yes, right? It is a cognitive endurance skill. It is a working memory deficiency, right? That is what drawing and draftsmanship and spatial reasoning is, right? It's like you have a working memory deficiency that is being created due to the fact that you're working your memory, right? The deficiency is simply where you want it to be versus where it actually is, right? And where you want it to be requires you to chunk the information of where you currently are, right? Currently, it's like you're trying to calculate fucking 15, 20, whatever things, right? Or in your case, 2 things, 3 things, whatever. The point is you're trying to calculate enough things that are making your brain feel extremely uncomfortable, right? And where you want to be is for these difficult things to not be that difficult so you can move on to the next thing that is very difficult, right? And that gap is where your brain, over hundreds of hours, consolidates, chunks, improves the mental model, improves the schema, gets more efficient at utilizing, right? Updates your mental model, right? Does a fucking software update in the background to understand, right? But I think this is that's basically what I'm trying to say. Fuck off. But let's see, like this. I'm basically, whenever I say fuck off, just I'm telling myself to fuck off because I can't think right now. But right now, like even when I look here, I'm thinking about the center plane. And am I thinking about it accurately? No, that's why I need to think, because I'm trying to think about the center ellipse in that plane as well. And again, like I'm super zoomed in right now, so I need to zoom out, I need to zoom out, I need to zoom out and still draw this line. Like I'm zooming out while I'm drawing this line, and so the line suffers, right? But, and again, like did I even see anything? And I'm pretty sure it's converging slightly. Am I even seeing anything? No, but I'm zooming, I'm literally looking here while I'm drawing this line. I want to be very clear. And I'm only doing that because I'm trying to train myself to not rely on my vision for my motor skill. Does that make sense? I'm literally making a cognitive effort to not rely on my vision for my motor skill. I'm relying on my understanding of the space despite where I look. That is something that I'm training, right? And that is something, oh my god, that's so uncomfortable, but it's so good. That is something that I'm literally doing right now. And again, I'm trying to see the center plane here, right? This center plane in the middle, and then this center plane in the middle, right? That's the vertical one, and then trying to see this center plane, right? Because I haven't been seeing that. What I really need to see is the perfect sphere and then the center contours, which is, again, the ellipse. The center contour of a sphere that's inside a box is simply the ellipse that is the center plane, vertical and horizontal of the box. Sorry, vertical and horizontal, right? That's actually, I think, the z-axis or whatever the fuck, right? But anyways, keep zooming out, keep trying to see it. And just by putting in this shit ton of effort, I already can feel myself getting better at creating this mental model, right? Creating this mental model for this new angle, right? Updating my construction, updating my schema. Like it's all schema. What is a schema? A mental representation. What is a mental representation, right? The things you're calculating that you're trying to create an understanding of. What are you trying to create an understanding of? I cannot speak. Create. Fucking glock cocksucker that I am. But right? What are you trying to create a representation of, right? Whatever you're learning in terms of spatial reasoning, in terms of draftsmanship, in terms of line, in terms of values, in terms of whatever the fuck it is, right? The point is you don't have that representation and you're actively working to create that representation. And that gap is where you fill, right? The gap in knowledge, the gap in mental model accumulation, the gap in working memory being more efficient, the gap in cognitive endurance being more accustomed, right? More efficient, more deliberate, right? Like your cognitive endurance basically is like how long you can stay in that discomfort, right? You can build these are all skills, right? The work that you do is simply like that is what fills that gap, right? Effortful work, that's all that matters. And you matter so much because you're here listening to my voice, liking, subscribing, watching my video, commenting, telling me I'm beautiful even though you don't know what I look like. Actually, you could very easily know what I look like. If anybody's curious, just click on the link in the description in the Discord. I have a Discord now. I forget, I don't really shill it that often. Only people who found it is like when I said it the first time fucking like 2 months ago on thumbnail, and then in the video itself of that thumbnail what is it, like people who somebody who wants to ask me a question, they're like, yo, does this guy have a Discord? And they click on the description like, oh, what the fuck he does. So yeah, I have a Discord if anybody's curious what I look like. I don't know if anybody gives a shit, bro. I'm very handsome, I want to say. That's the meme, right? I'm like, look at me, I'm only talking about how good looking I am. Unfortunately, that's all I have going for me. I don't have a personality. Anyways, as always, no wait, fuck, that's the outro. Anyways, rest your brain. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna rest my brain. That was really good, really cognitively taxing. Cognitively tasking, not tasking? Jesus Christ, that's not even funny. None of this is funny. Please rest your brain. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Yeah, so let's see. I want to say something. Yeah, so even when I'm not describing what I'm thinking of, by the way, I'm already thinking immediately when I look at this, I'm already thinking about the diagonal center line, right? The diagonal cross axis, the center cross axis. Same here, I'm doing that. Here, I'm trying to do it as much as possible, right? That's why ghosting here is more important because in these tiny angles, these tiny ellipses, sorry, please, Jesus Christ, that sounded like a shart more than a burp. Bless me. But there you go, that's a burp. But in these extremely narrow planes, I have not built the skill nor the ability, right, to visualize. But now just by ghosting, it's helping quite a bit for me to make an understanding, right? And again, like while I'm doing this, I've completely lost the sphere. I think the sphere is slightly, it's a bit too wide, but I'm getting better. Like because there's a new angle, it's actually pretty, I am impressed with myself, to be honest, at how it's not as shit as it usually is, which means I'm learning. Right, so this is the center line, I believe, right? Because I'm calculating this, calculating this, and it's okay for these things to be wrong. And again, while I'm calculating that, I completely lose the plot. But now this is something that I'm going to, like while I'm drawing this, I'm trying to think about, and again, I'm zooming in a lot, but while I'm drawing this, I'm trying to think about the center line and the ellipse, right? Because this ellipse is very narrow, right? This ellipse is very narrow. And then this one's super wide. So I need to constantly be thinking, more than anything, I need to be thinking about the center lines. It's very difficult. It's incredibly difficult. But, and I don't know if I got this guy's face. I think I made the front plane too wide. And you can see this actually slightly off center. So I think my calculation was off, right? Ah, yes, it's off again by a fucking millimeter. It should have been here. 2 millimeters actually, maybe even 3 millimeters. But that's actually where the center line is. That makes a lot more sense. And you might think like, oh no, he fucked up the drawing. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter to me. It's about correction, not about aesthetics. If you want aesthetics, go to someone else. Because the aesthetics that you are looking for when it comes to art is in the mind, right? You are building a superior mind, right? And that's actually another thing I want to talk about. It's like, and by the way, I don't say superior in the sense that like, well, I guess I mean superior in literally the most basic term, which is you're building a better mind, right? A mind that is able to see, a mind that is able to calculate, a mind that is able to understand, right? A mind that is able to put in the effort to try to see, to try to understand, right? Like that is what I mean by superior mind. And you can see like I fucked up my, like this is also, again, it's these little millimeters, right? Like it's actually, this is a wrong line. You can see it's about this much of a difference. In terms of like, that's the distance. This is the difference between this line and this line. No, probably less than that, but it still makes a huge difference, right? And you should feel proud of yourself for putting in that effort to try to build this quote unquote superior mind, right? Because that's actually what, like the thing I was trying to talk about is like, this is why I don't like the word grind, because the word grind has been essentially it's very pervasive in, like, I guess people trying to work hard and this hustle culture bullshit. And by the way, while I'm talking, I've completely lost the plot on all this shit, which is I needed, like, that's why I need to keep zooming out and keep seeing everything, right? But grind is purely just effort. Like, I want to say that again. Grind is just effort. Effort into trying to figure things out over an extended period of time. That is grind. Like, that's literally grind. That's the way I define it, right? So when I'd say you're grinding, or I'm grinding, or people, I mean, fucking Zuff Draws called me a grind-on-mite, right? And like, that is just me constantly putting in effort, right? So when you are quote-unquote grinding, when everybody's like, I want to get on the grind, I want to get on the grind, it's like, it doesn't make any sense to put such a weight on that word. Especially, and by the way, like, while I'm drawing these features, I'm actively struggling immensely, right? Actively struggling immensely to visualize the sphere, because I'm drawing small features on top of this is like the whole point. Is like the whole point is to be able to see this entire fuckery while I draw features, because it makes it stable. Like, the point is, when I start drawing features, what you're seeing here, right? This. Let me fucking point at it. There you go. Like, do my little wiggling pointing. But the whole point of this over the next as many hours as it takes, I don't give a fuck, right? Is to be able to see that in my mind, and then the modified Loomis spatial like layer on top of that, or manipulated within that, while I draw these features. And that's why it's going to take me years. But this is how you build a quote-unquote superior mind, right? Because this is the effort it takes to not take shortcuts, right? Again, I'm trying to understand something most artists just guess at. I'm literally trying to see the entire space. I'm trying to understand the overall, and again, while I'm talking, I'm thinking, I'm drawing, right? So this is very difficult. My mind's very taxed right now. My working memory is actively trying to figure out and understand what the fuck, like, how to balance speaking while cognitively thinking, while calculating, while zooming out, while placing features, while speaking, while calculating. Right? So, and again, like, this line is an obstruction now, the incorrect center line. So I need to obviously think about this right here. That's my center line. So we need to, and this is jutting out, so something like this, right? There you go. That's my center line. That makes a lot more sense. And again, like, I'm looking at the reference a bunch, so every time I look here, I have to immediately reconstruct, right? And that's a skill I'm constantly working on, is immediate reconstruction. Like, anytime I look anywhere, just know that I'm constantly trying to calculate. Like, if I look here, immediately I'm like, oh, look, center line, center ellipse. Oh, look, center plane, center ellipse. Oh, look, center plane, center ellipse. Oh, look, now that I've noted that, and I'm trying to keep that, oh, look, we got the cross-axis here. Oh, we got the cross-axis here. Oh, look, I need to zoom out, and I see the sphere. Oh, now that I'm seeing the sphere, I need to see the center lines inside the sphere. I need to see the center lines inside the sphere. And that's something I don't do often, so that's actually a huge focus for me. I mean, everything's a huge fucking focus for me, clearly, bro. I'm goddamn garbage. But that is one of the huge focuses, I guess you could say, right? So, and again, like, while I'm doing this, I'm actively trying to, like, draw features, right? I'm trying to draw features that Jesus Christo. See, like, I couldn't see anything there, and it's off perspective. Whew. But this is the only chance I got, too, because I'm going to be switching the angle next round anyways, right? So it's really good. Like, this is a great way to build my understanding of perspective, right? Apparently this guy's face, his eyes have been edited to be blue when they're actually brown. I don't know. I just saw the comment for that before I started the video. I was like, interesting. I don't care. But, like, interesting. Very nice. Let's see Paul Allen's edited eyes. Right. Remember, I made my boy die. Mr. A, we'll call him Mr. Anal for short, right? We're playing Helldivers. And by the way, while again, like, I'm going on these tangents to also train my brain to think about everything while going on these tangents, right? I want to be very clear. Like, every time I do this isn't like, it's funny, like, everything is skill learning for me, right? Everything is just pushing my brain. So, by the way, I lost everything. I lost the entire construction because I'm looking at the reference right now, right? But, let's see. This guy's Lipperoonies. And it has an uneven Cupid's bow. Very interesting. That's actually a good thing, because you want, like, it just goes to show that uneven features are very pervasive and actually what create interesting Jesus, I gave him like a fucking overbite that because that's an incorrect curve, as you can see, right? But yeah, uneven features are and his mouth is open. He's doing the classic model expression, right? But and again, I lost the entire perspective. I could only see this because I kept looking at the reference to get the accuracy down. But oh yeah, like I just basically he put he did an orbital Gatling barrage. I was like, nice, very nice. Let's see Paul Allen's orbital Gatling barrage, and he died, right? He literally died. It's rest in peace, Mr. Anal. But yeah, like you can see, my perspective goes to shit when I'm trying to think about all these different things, and this is super difficult. Like this right now, trying to visualize this as my mental schema, extremely difficult. So I'm gonna rest my brain. And then again, the beautiful thing is we're going to do the hard version of this, which is form wrapping the stress test, form wrapping the 3D wireframe around my existing mental model, which is a wireframe in and of itself. We're basically testing a wireframe. We're testing an extremely complex wireframe with an extremely complex wireframe, right? All while trying to visualize both of them. So for those of you who are unaware, right, this is literally what I'm doing. This is literally what I'm seeing at all times to the best of my ability, right? This, I'm trying to see the box, right? And this is like the mental model that I'm building. It's not just in this angle. This is why we're interleaving. I'm trying to see the sphere inside the box. I'm trying to see the center lines. I'm calculating. When I'm saying I'm trying to see, I'm calculating all of this, right? This is calculations, right? I'm trying to see the center lines on each visible plane, right? Each visible plane. My voice sounds like shit. I really don't like my voice, but anyways, that top one is fucked. But each visible plane, right? I'm trying to, and then because this center and this center, they are planes that you can just see through, right? That means this has an ellipse that is encompassed inside of it, and this has an ellipse that's encompassed inside of it. And that I'm also trying to see because that is the center contour of my sphere, right? And this is not that accurate, but right, that's the center contour of my sphere, and that is something I constantly need to visualize in order to understand. And you can see I actually didn't even fit like a proper sphere inside of this. Like, yeah, it definitely did do a bit bigger. But you see what I mean? Like, this is what I'm constantly trying to visualize. And then the center line, the diagonal, cross-axis, diagonal, and then like an ellipse inside every single one of them as well. But that's what I'm trying to see. I want to be very clear. That is literally the mental model I'm building, right? It's based on structure, solidity, and swag. Especially the last one. But anyways, rest your brain, please. I'm going to cry. I encourage you to rest your brain. What the fuck? I'm going to do the same. I forgot what my line was. Anyways. All right, so I want to put into perspective. I had no pun intended. Yeah, I want to put into perspective, right? Because I do explain obviously what I'm thinking as much as I can, right? I do try to articulate exactly what I'm doing while I'm doing it, right? You know, the fucking thinking about thinking, metacognition, all that shit. Also very good for me, and it helps me understand what I'm doing. But to really put into perspective exactly how much I fail, right? Like, I'll literally start right now, okay? I'll literally start right now. Okay, I don't see the box. Oh, I lost the sphere. Okay, I still can't see the box. I'm still trying to calculate. Oh, the sphere's there, but it's very hazy. It's like this. Like, it's literally like a butt crack, right? Not really a sphere, right? This right here, this drawing underneath, again, obstruction, completely fucking with my understanding. Putting a shit ton of cognitive effort right now, taxing my working memory to get the sphere correct. Oh, it still doesn't look right. Oh, the shape still isn't correct. Shape still isn't correct. But the ghosting is not helping. Shape still isn't correct. Okay, I got the shape now. But I don't have the box around it, right? Oh, okay. I'm trying to think about the box. Okay, I lost the shape. Sphere's gone again, right? Oh, the angle's incorrect because I'm doing a much more top angle like this, right? Okay, let's try to tilt it up. Let's try to tilt it up while I also try to think about the sphere at the same time. Okay, I don't see either of them. All right. Okay, trying to move it up, right? Okay, I kind of got it, not really. I still don't see anything. Okay, now I'm starting to see the box just a little bit. I'm starting to calculate the diagonals, right? Oh, I lost the sphere again. Okay, oh, and the sphere is jutting out too much from the top plane. All right, that's all mistakes. Am I making a point? Within the past 20 seconds, I have made 20 mistakes, right? Every second I make a fucking mistake, you know? Because every second is sheer effort and difficulty, right? So just assume, no matter what is occurring, right? And I now obviously I'm okay with constantly explaining back and forth. It's completely fine by me, right? Because again, demystify the art journey. Not what is he thinking? How is he doing this? Is it magic? It's like, no, clearly, right? There's no magic involved. It's just constant effort, constant errors, constant effort, constant errors, feeling good about the errors, constant effort, right? And over hundreds of hours. Oh, he's actually like, oh, that's actually making a difference. Oh, it's getting slightly better. And compound growth. Holy shit, what the fuck? How's this guy just drawing all this shit, right? And that's the thing. It's like, it's not about becoming the guy, oh, how do you draw all this shit? It's about becoming the guy who worked hard and put in the effort and built the human being who then people say, or not people say, who then has this, even though the external thing doesn't matter, it's like becoming the person who has built the skills for the external reception to be grand, if that makes sense. Like building is about becoming the person that builds the skill, right? The external reception is simply an indicator of the extent of the skill that you've built, right? And again, okay, right now I don't see the box. I don't see the box. Again, right? While I'm narrating, I'm also trying to think. That's very, very, very. I'm literally trying to do two things at once, which is think and narrate, right? Think and narrate. Think and narrate. Incredibly difficult, right? My mental model, my schema, I am an output regression. Output regression is when your cognitive memory is taxed, all your glycogen reserves are being used up for the task at hand. Your input is very high, input as in your effort, but your output, what you're producing, in my case, in my mind, the visualization and the lines itself, like what you end up drawing, is worse. Objectively and measurably worse than what you have usually been able to do. That is where you want to be, because right now my brain is struggling to be like, wait, we literally cannot build a schema because this thing is an obstruction in the background. We literally cannot build a schema because he's narrating. We literally cannot construct because we keep fucking up the angle, right? We literally cannot conceptualize the angle of the box because he's narrating and because it's very taxing to do so. We need to figure out a way to have this schema, this mental model, this representation be calculated more efficiently such that while he's narrating, he's able to see these things, right? So yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now. I'm in extreme discomfort. My brain is extremely tired, and again, like this is, I can't even fraud this, right? So I need to see the box. I really need to see the box and I really need to see the sphere. So I'm zooming out right now. I'm trying to do my best to ignore this drawing in the background. I'm zooming the fuck out. Posture check. My head was slightly leaned forward. Posture check, everybody, right? But I'm literally trying to holistically zoom out. I'm like fucking trying to see this in my mind too, right? I'm trying to holistically zoom out, trying to see this in my mind, and let's see. See, this is very taxing, right? That's very taxing because I'm trying to see this wireframe. I'm trying to see this 3D wraparound, right? Well, I'm also trying to make the proportion accurate because I don't want to be too close here. I struggle with location, right? Not just proportion, sorry. I'm trying to make the placement accurate, right? So, and for that to happen, I need to see the box and I need to see the sphere. So I'm really, really, really fucking trying right now. Like, I'm genuinely trying so fucking hard. Like, you will not believe I'm trying to see everything at once. And this is exactly where progress is made. Like this right here. This right here, this is where progress is made. And again, I'm zoomed in right now, completely lost it because every time I draw this, I lose the schema that I'm building, right? I lose the visualization, but I'm trying to zoom out as much as possible right now. Right, I'm trying to zoom out as much as possible right now. I'm really trying to zoom out. I'm really trying to zoom out, right? I'm trying to see these center and the diagonals that is, what's it called, wrapping around this, right? Or like following the perspective. I'm really trying to see that. I don't see the top plane at all. I really, for the box, all I see is this. Like this, I see the bottom plane, I see the middle, right? And I see a little bit of this, barely this. I don't really see much of that. And like the back, you can basically forget about it. But that's the thing, I'm trying not to forget about it. Right, but let's see, keep trying to hold it, right? And trying to see the box. Okay, now I'm starting to see the top plane a little bit, but still not that much. Very little. I'm trying to zoom out. Oh, I'm in extreme discomfort. I'm trying to see the center lines, right, for the front plane, because this is now my center ellipse or center cylinder. Bless me. Like, all these burps sound fucking disgusting. But I'm trying to see the center plane. I'm trying to calculate because this cylinder has become my center, right? It is always going to be the center. I'm trying to calculate the like the what the fuck, the partial cut up ellipse around it, right? With logic, with intent and logic. So something like this, and then something like that, right? Again, it's following the ellipse itself, which is following the plane that it resides in, right? And something like this. And then the other side, we don't really see it that much. Something like that. That is actually kind of shit, but... And it's already kind of wrong. You can see I make this mistake quite often, but this is still a much better attempt than what it used to be. And that's an amazing mistake to make because I lost everything. So I'm going to rest my brain because I was working my taxing memory there, right? Output regression, that is the goal where you see nothing, but you do everything, right? You're actively like trying. And this is with every skill, by the way. Like even when I'm playing piano, when I'm thinking a fuck ton about the extreme nuance of like the pen pressure, Jesus Christ, the finger pressure sensitivity, right? Like with my fingering and all that stuff. And you know, like when I'm doing a trill or a turn, which is like it's basically that's what it sounds like. It's like I don't know how else to say it. I'm not a fucking pianist, bro. Like I don't know shit about piano. I just learn it because I'm getting really good at learning. Like I can objectively say I'm pretty decent at learning, right? So I play well, and people have started to be like, oh fuck, like you're really good. But I don't know what the fuck any of this is, bro. I just listen to my teacher and I listen to the recordings and then I play. And I'm just good at observing because I've learned how to observe and like to understand like all the little things I want to pay attention to. But the point being is like, yeah, there's all these little things I'm paying attention to when I'm practicing piano, and when I'm trying to always actively focus on the thing I'm doing, right? Like the multiple little factors. And when that happens, I play worse. And just Mr. J, I almost fucking said his name also at this point. It's probably not that hard to know what his name is. But Mr. J told me, Mr. Ganja man, he was like, it is very normal to try hard and be shit. I'm like, thank you. He's younger than me. He doesn't have a Russian accent. He's actually Albanian. Anyways, please rest your brain. I encourage you to... What the fuck? I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do the same. What the fuck? Okay, once again, the goal is... Let me sip on my coffee. Yeah, once again, the goal is tax your fucking brain as much as possible, right? As much as possible. So right now, like again, I want to be an output regression because when I'm trying to see everything is when my brain is actively going to be like, bro, we have to see everything. Like kind of self-explanatory, but that is when my brain will actively be like, we need to understand this schema so well such that we can create the representation that this mind is seeking, right? Like, because the brain doesn't really understand that, hey, I'm struggling, right? Like right now I'm trying to see the box and I'm really trying to see the center plane, right? And you can already tell like the angle is slightly different. I could technically I could revise it based on the placement of these ellipses to be more accurate to the and again, like you can tell I really struggle with getting, because I make this too curved, like it's not supposed to be that curved, right? But yeah, like there you go. I think that's more accurate. But anyways, like the point is I'm trying to see the box. I'm trying to see the center plane on both sides. And the biggest thing that I need to constantly see, which I'm constantly failing at seeing, but I'm constantly trying to see, is this, right? Is I need to see the center plane and I need to see this center plane, right? And obviously they're meeting. And then I need to see the ellipse inside each center plane, right? And I also need to see the sphere, right? To understand that, oh, okay, well, that's a fucked up sphere, but you get the point I'm trying to make, right? To be like, okay, that is my center of the sphere itself. Like, those are the center contour lines, right? And then obviously that goes into me. At the end of the day, I love how I say I need to see, like, only these things, but then it turns out, no, you actually need to see the entire fucking box, bro. Sorry. And you also need to see the center lines, because you wouldn't know where the center is here. So, TLDR, I'm constantly trying to see everything, right? Constantly. And it's just me always failing to do the calculation. Let me, again, prove another point. Okay. Oh, I just failed to see the box. Oh, I'm seeing the center lines, but I lost the box. Oh, I lost the center lines, and I'm trying to see the side plane now, right? That was the front plane. Now I'm trying to see the side plane. I'm trying to calculate the center lines there. Oh, it turns out this edge is way too close because that's not where the center is aligned, right? So I need to move the center of the box here. Oh, I lost the box again. Oh, I'm not zoomed in. I'm too zoomed in. I'm not zoomed out enough, right? Oh, okay, now I'm zoomed out, and vaguely the box is starting to form, right? Vaguely, but I don't see the sphere inside of it. I do not see the sphere inside of it. Okay, I don't have the center planes either, and the ellipses. Okay, now I do. Now I do. Now I do. And now I need to understand that this is a three-dimensional shape that's wrapping around those center planes, right? Three-dimensional shape that's wrapping around those center planes. What does that mean? I need to make sure that I also see the sphere. Oh, I lost the sphere, lost the center planes, I lost the box. Okay, let's reconstruct, right? Like, I'm constantly losing everything. These are dozens of factors, right? Like, this wraparound has basically, wraparound, why'd I say like that? This wraparound has, has basically, it's a stress test. It's a stress test of whether I actually understand space or not, right? Like, more than anything, that's what it is, but that is a lot to understand, right? So something like this, and even though like that is too much of a curve, it's okay. We changed it a little bit, but while I did that line, I was trying to zoom out, but I really didn't zoom out, right? But I was trying really hard. Again, like right now, what am I visualizing? I'm trying to visualize the center line, right? But I need to zoom the fuck out and see everything, because what I'm doing is if I constantly only see this, my brain is just gonna ignore the rest of the mental model and only see this. So we need to see everything, right? We need to see fucking everything, and that is where progress is made, when I see fucking everything, right? And again, right, like I'm constantly trying to zoom out. I'm trying to zoom out. I'm trying to zoom out, right? Genuinely I'm trying so fucking hard to zoom out, bro. Like, and now I'm trying to do the center line here, right? Let's see. Or the center cross around. Again, I'm trying to see the center plane. I'm trying to, again, this is a 3D shape. This is a 3D shape with depth that is nuanced, right? It is just enough depth for me to have to calculate the entire perspective of this thing on top of that, right? So on top of like the mental model that I have, right? So that is beautiful because that's difficult, right? Because now when I see this, I need to be able to see the sphere. I need to be able to see the box. I need to zoom out again, zoom out. I'm really taxing my working memory right now. Really fucking taxing it. Really trying to see this center plane, this ellipse. And this, again, this thing has its own perspective, right? This is a 3D shape. You don't see it right now, but this is a 3D shape right here. Let me make it even more clear. It's a 3D fucking shape, right? So I need to make it very clear for myself how this is wrapping around, right? And that's where the box comes into play. And that's where me trying to visualize this center comes into play. And again, like, I still need to keep the entire sphere in mind. And while I was doing that, I completely lost the box. This is amazing. I feel fucking amazing right now. Holy shit, this feels so good. Because I need to think about this center. And let's see. And my lines will suffer. Oh, see, that's wrong. My lines will suffer, but I'm trying to zoom out as much as possible to get that. Oh my god, that was fucking amazing. That felt so good. So I'm gonna rest my brain again. Holy shit, and we're gonna try again. We're just gonna keep trying to zoom out and see this. Oh, that felt amazing. Amazing? What the fuck? That felt amazing. Yeah, that was extremely difficult. Once this is done, I'm gonna break down exactly all the little calculations that are gonna occur, and it's gonna look like an absolute clusterfuck. I'm gonna be very clear, right? Like, once I'm done explaining it, you'll be like, what the fuck is this? But this is exactly what I'm constantly trying to think about and constantly oscillating or shifting between in terms of my working memory, trying to hold all these different calculations, right? So, like, once I'm done this, I'll show you exactly why this is a stress test and why this is difficult, because I feel as if I haven't explained it well enough. But this is where it's all foundational and it's hyper translatable and transferable, right? Like, I have never drawn a jet before. I've only ever been doing not just this, but like before this, what are we on, like part 96 or some shit, right? So like part 30 and beyond, like literally for the past 90 hours, right, of practice, it's just been spatial reasoning, portrait spatial reasoning that doesn't look like portraits, clearly, right? But because of that, I can draw this, where I looked at a jet, I studied it for 20 to 25 minutes over the course of a week, right? Just with intent, obviously, but I just looked at the fucking picture on Pinterest. And by the way, the angle of that jet was not here. It was like this, all right? It was facing, fuck me, no, not the pen. I actually don't understand how I do this every time. It's just fucking sticky ass hands. Spider-Man. But yeah, the jet angle was like this. I studied the shapes to the best of my ability, and then I rotated it when I drew it, right? But I have not practiced rotating a jet. I have not practiced drawing jets. I have not practiced fucking just rotating any shape in general. But wait, I have, because I've been rotating this mental model, this schema, for 80, 90 hours. That is still rotation of something that's spatially complex, right? And that has to be calculated consistently. Transferable, hyper transferable, foundational skill, right? So hopefully that encourages you, right? Or at least puts into perspective that, oh shit, foundational work transfers no matter what, right? It's just about applying it or practicing it and then applying it to the best of my ability. And by the way, this is only 10% of my practice. Once again, foundations, foundations, fundamentals are 90% of my practice. But anyways, rest your brain. Jesus, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Oof, man, I love this. I fucking love this. This is such good work. If I do say so myself. Just fucking jerk myself off. I'm doing great. You're doing great. But anyways, yeah, like, so why I was saying this felt amazing is like, basically I was zooming out. Even now while I'm talking, I'm zooming out. I'm trying to see the entire box, right? And while I'm doing that, I'm also trying, like, I was also trying to see the center line, right, of the mental model that I had. And while I was doing that, I was projecting the center line upwards and three-dimensionally across this thing, because this is its own thing, right? This is its own shape that follows that center line, but it's still that nuance that I was talking about, where it's like it's three-dimensional. And now the big thing is, again, because before what I was doing is I made it too long because I didn't see the length of the I didn't see the sphere properly, like the size of the sphere, right? So now the big thing is like, okay, we have to be able to understand where this box ends, and the box ends right around there. So what does that mean exactly, right? Like that means that if I want to keep it in the center, right, I'm basically stopping right around there, I believe. Like this, oh, this is so difficult because I can't see the box anymore. I need to see the box again. I've completely lost the box, completely lost everything, right? And I do believe, like, I don't see the subtlety of the top plane, but I need to constantly be aware of that, right? I need to constantly be aware of that because this angle is really hard to, this box perspective, this box, this large box is extremely hard to visualize, right? So I'm just trying to keep that in mind because I keep losing it. I don't really see it, so I need to keep zooming out because you see how I only do this. I need to also practice seeing ghosting the top plane. Like that helps quite a bit actually. See, so it's also what you ghost. Like when you aren't ghosting the thing that's beneficial, you aren't going to see the thing that's beneficial, right? And I'm trying to think right now. I'm trying to really think about like where the box, everything ends. Hold up. Let's see. So we'll bring this over here. And again, I'm trying to see like how does the sphere fit? Like how does this perfect circle fit into all of this? Something like that. Already fucked up the line work a little bit, but then again, like, oh, see, I'm so zoomed in. I'm super zoomed in. I'm super zoomed in. I need to zoom out again, and I need to. And again, like, it's very hard because I'm saying I need to zoom out, but am I actually zooming out? No, I'm actually still really focused on this line, so I need to zoom out and see, like, I actually fucked up the placement of this sphere because I was completely messed up the what's it called? Like, it's not even, right? Like, this is further out than this, and I have to readjust that, but and see, like, this isn't even centered, I don't think. So, because I keep fucking up the centering of this perspective, like these top perspectives, clearly I struggle with seeing the center. This actually curve should have been more, like that maybe? Right? Yeah, that definitely would have looked a lot more centered, but it's okay. So I completely lost the box and I don't see the bottom at all, so I just need to constantly be, trying to understand where it is. Right, and I'm trying to think about the center plane now. I'm really trying to zoom out, trying to think about the center plane while also keeping the bottom of my sphere, keeping it consistent with the edges of the box and making it equal, right? Trying to see the box, okay, that was a mistake, but... And again, I'm trying to see the wireframe. I'm trying to see through the wireframe, like what that actually looks like, right? There you go. I don't think that's centered. That's definitely not centered. But again, look, oh shit, bro, my brain. See, so my biggest thing right now is like clearly I'm wrapping it around in the center, the vertical one, the vertical ellipse, the vertical center line, the vertical contour, whatever you want to call it, right? Like for this 3D shape, I'm not wrapping it correctly as it should be centered, right? So if this is the plane on the side, the vertical plane, right, that I'm projecting outward and like in the middle. So I'm creating something, I'm making a line like this. But this needs to be maybe a lot more, it needs to stop right here, perhaps. This is hard to figure out. This is very hard to figure out. But once I draw the wireframe over this, it should make things a lot more understandable and give me a bit more direction. But again, it does like, it'll just give me direction in terms of like what I should focus on. But in terms of like actually, posture check everybody, actually visualizing everything, it's gonna take a lot of time. My brain is again an output regression, right? I can't see anything. I'm trying to calculate. I'm super zoomed in, so I need to zoom out, and I just need to see this, not see the line. Emphasis on the not see, right? And yeah, like I need to not see the line, and I need to see. I can't. I literally could not. I was so focused on just drawing the line that I literally couldn't focus on zooming out, right? And it's incredibly difficult because I need to keep reminding myself that you need to zoom the fuck out. And this actually, I'm pretty sure the center line, again, it's way too pronounced. Yeah, you see the bottom is not that pronounced, right? But I made it very pronounced. So I actually made a mistake here. This was because I wasn't thinking. I'll be very clear. Like, I know it's because I wasn't thinking nearly as much as I should have. So that's on me, right? And again, I need to see the, box in order to understand the sphere. Right? That is not a good sphere. See? It's not, it's just too, it's just off center. Woof! Okay, and then let's try to see the box again. I don't see anything. I literally don't see anything. And at this point, I almost literally saw the bottom perspective for some reason instead, right? So this top, these subtle ones are extremely, extremely good for telling me to go fuck myself, right? There you go. It's okay. Oh my god, that is so difficult. That is so... And yes, it is because I obviously didn't align these properly as well, I don't think. Right? Like, there's a lot of mistakes. And this is why this is a stress test. Like, this is basically... there's a lot of nuance. The shapes are just big or small enough for me to not see the thing, right? Or to tell, like really struggle with understanding. I don't want to use the green pen because the green pen is... fuck it, we'll use the green pen, right? I'll try to show what I've been thinking, right? Which is like what I was trying to visualize. Like, I'll show you exactly what I was trying to visualize, right? Trying being the operative word. I want to be very clear. I was trying to visualize this. I was not succeeding in visualizing this, but I was trying to visualize this. And the box I draw may also be incorrect, but this is just to give you an idea of what I was constantly trying to see while I was drawing, right? So I was trying to see the box. That's pretty self-evident. I've mentioned that multiple times, right? I was really struggling to see this top plane, really, because it's so narrow. And again, I don't practice these narrow top angles or visualize them or draw anything like that enough, right? And this is, and then again, like, okay, so I was seeing the box. I was trying to see the sphere, right? The sphere inside the box. Right, trying to see that, trying to see, and then I was calculating the center line, specifically just for this, like for the front plane more than anything. You can see it's pretty off, right? And the thing is, like, I'm not drawing the correct box. Like, the box I'm drawing over this in general is relatively inaccurate because it's not exactly placed where I had initially visualized, but I'm basing it off of the final result rather than just what I was trying to see, right? But yeah, like, I was seeing all this. I was doing my best. I barely saw these, but this is what I was trying to see as well. This is why I said I was an output regression, because these are all the calculations I'm trying to hold in my mind. These are all individual things, right? Like, yes, my brain is more efficient at processing them now, but these are all still very difficult to do all in conjunction. So I was trying to see this, right? This, we can fucking forget about me seeing the diagonals here for the time being, but this is something that I'm also trying to calculate, right? And then as on top of that, I was trying to see this center plane. That's seen through, right? It's a seen through center plane for the vertical as well as the horizontal, right? And then I was seeing the ellipse inside of that, right? Seeing the ellipse inside of that, which is the contour, vertical and horizontal contour of the sphere itself. Now you're at this point, you should understand that, like, oh, this is pretty fucky. Like, he was trying to calculate all of this at the same time, right? Oscillating, failing multiple times, right? Oscillating between the different calculations constantly, and I made that very clear in my language, I like to believe, right? Also, I drew the wrong box, but again, I also drew this completely incorrectly. So this is amazing. Like, it feels so good. But now you have to understand that why is this wireframe a stress test? Because what this wireframe is, and I'll just show you one part, and it should show you the rest, right? It's like, what it really is I'm basically seeing this, right? I'm adding a three-dimensional box over, right? And then I'm seeing the sphere and the cylinder inside of it, the ellipse inside of it, and then I'm drawing another three-dimensional box over that, centering it, putting the ellipse inside of that, the cylinder inside of that. And now this right here, because everything is elliptical, this has its own center line, which is following the perspective, and it's wrapping around. Like, there you go, like this. See? This is a 3D shape that has its own it's just a minor thing. It's just a minor like this much depth, right? Or like in this direction, this much depth, whatever, like here, right? But that is the difficulty. Is like I'm already calculating all of this. Now this fuckery is on each side, and I'm also calculating that while ensuring that this entire mental model is only wrapped around the sphere, like the actual sphere, and this thing is only wrapped around, like, is just an additional wraparound, right? That's why, even though I'm not practicing hard surface shapes on the form wrapping, having this as my full mental model, like this entire fuckery that you see here, like this is going to, and this will take months, easily. At the very minimum, I'm thinking 4 months, right? Which is why I don't care anymore about how long it takes. Like, this portrait roadmap series will not be portrait roadmap for hundreds of hours until it is, and everybody's like, what the fuck, how'd that happen? And then you'll all come back here and be like, oh, foundations makes me uncomfortable. Oh wait, he's telling me not to be uncomfortable and to embrace the discomfort, actually. Oh wait, he believes I can do it, right? And then y'all suck my dick because I'm such a bastion of hope and optimism. But this is actually what is happening, right? This is what I'm trying to, I'm not seeing all of this, by the way. I'm saying, like, this is what I'm aiming to constantly calculate and fuse together into a one single mental model, a chunked component, instead of individual units currently. Because the individual units right now is like this plane with all the calculations, this plane with all the calculations, right? And then when the box is a complete unit, but the box with all these calculations is not a unit, right? So like the plane by itself with these calculations is a unit. So is this one, so is the top one, right? The center line inside, like the center plane and vertical and horizontal, these two are like separate units, right? With the ellipse inside of it, you know, but everything together, like these fucking 18, 20, whatever plus calculations I just did, right? Those are not units. And that is learning. That is working memory. That's taxing your working memory. That is consolidating the information. That is cognitive endurance. That is draftsmanship, where, especially because it's difficult, right? You are just going to consistently, essentially, your brain's going to break down the mental model, be an extreme output regression, really, really struggle, and then get better. And then it'll be like slightly 5% improvement, 5% consolidation, whatever. These are arbitrary numbers. But the point is, that's how it works, right? And when you're at a plateau, when you're really trying these things, or even a dip, that's when your brain over the next week or two is just going to learn and then boom, go up. That's granted, you're actively still trying to really, really improve, right? If you're on a plateau because you're doing fuck all and you're not trying to improve and you're half-assing things and you're going from one thing to another, right? Like, there's a difference between me changing the angle, right? And improving and creating more difficulty on the form wraparound in order to improve the penultimate goal, which is the mental model, which is then again the spatial reasoning foundation, right? Versus, and somebody else who's like practicing lines and like all that, like, or practicing their values, right? And they're doing the foundations and they're doing the work that's difficult, versus someone else who's like, I want to do values today. Oh, okay, I don't really get it. Okay, I want to draw from reference today. Okay, I don't really get it, right? And that is fine, by the way, but I'm speaking on all of this based on the premise of wanting to improve and grow in the difficult things and become a better foundationally strong artist, right? Like, that is the precedent that's being set with this fucking channel. So, like, if you take my words the wrong way, then go fuck yourself. Watch every video, keep me on the background, give me likes, give me retention, right? I don't need haters, I need masturbators. But I kind of ended a bit early today, because that was just very cognitively taxing. It was just one entire repetition today, like one entire form wrapping, but it was good. It was good. And this is, again, this is a test of my mental model. Like, clearly my mental model is not strong in this angle. Clearly, yeah, this is like me, again, stress testing. I don't know why I can't fucking speak, bro. I'm literally all over the place. But this is me stress testing my understanding of the mental model that I've spent 50 hours on being more slow and intentional with the construction. Because the reason the construction work wasn't wasted is because, yeah, I wasn't interleaving and testing the model, but I was creating the ability to build the model more efficiently, and building the construction was being worked on, right? And like, actually, and that's why like I can construct and see this relatively decently, and that's why I'm at a point now where this form wrapping is more structurally sound, right? But, and like, even in these angles that I'm unfamiliar with, which is good because, again, it tests the angle that I'm unfamiliar with. But if I tried doing this 50 hours ago when I hadn't built the ability to construct this yet, then that would be output regression that is useless. Like, you need to be at that point where you still understand what you're doing, you're just trying to do it, right? That is the biggest difference when I'm talking about like effort, is the fact that it's not that you're trying to do something that you don't understand, in the sense that, like, if you're trying to draw a cylinder but you don't understand boxes, that is useless output regression, right? That is a useless mental effort. Like, that is mental effort that your brain is trying to do something where it doesn't even understand the foundation prior to that. Versus if you understand boxes and then you're trying to draw cylinders, or you're trying to visualize the box and the plane inside the ellipse inside the box and the cylinder inside the box, right? And like the ellipse inside the plane, that's different, because you understand the box is the structural foundation, and you understand that you're trying to figure out how an ellipse sits in that. You're trying to figure out how to visualize how a cylinder sits in that, and making fucking hundreds of mistakes and being like, the ellipse is wrong, it doesn't make sense, the minor axis is off, right? Oh, the cylinder, like, I curved it too little, I curved it too much at the bottom, it's not following the degree. That's different, because you understand the foundation. And then prior to that, if you're trying to draw a box but you don't understand planes, and you don't understand how lines converge, right, towards a vanishing point, then again, it's fucking useless, because you haven't understood the step before that. So when I say you must put your maximal effort towards doing things that are difficult and that you don't understand, what I mean by like a caveat in terms of what you don't understand is what you don't understand yet, but you have already understood. And by understood, I mean practice for hundreds and thousands of repetitions. And I say hundreds of thousands just as like a general, like, just a fuck ton, right? But to give you an actual number, yes, it usually is at the very minimum hundreds, right? And it can be thousands, right? Because it was for me, and I'm average to below average, so like that's how long it fucking took me, right? That's why I only ever do the difficult things, because I need to, for me to actually learn, my fucking dumbass brain to actually understand things, right? So yeah, the point is, do I have a piece of paper that I can, yeah, let me like, I guess, you know, everybody, oshiete gintoki sensei, Tama, or like, teach me, right? This is just like some random shit I did on stream months back. But all I'm trying to say is, you do the thing that's really difficult. So but like that, you do understand but you do understand what you're aiming for. You do understand what you're trying to achieve. So if you understand that you're trying to achieve, right, seeing a plane and then seeing an ellipse inside the plane, that is the presumption, and like the skill that you have prior to that is that you understand that the plane has vanishing points and there's a horizon line somewhere here, right? And you can understand, you've internalized and visualized all of those to the point where it doesn't take much energy for you to do that. You understand that this plane in this perspective, right, becomes a box that goes down like this, and that this also has a vanishing point, this has a vanishing point, right? Like, you understand all of that. So your problem solving and what you're struggling with and what you're experiencing output regression with is not the box and the plane by itself. It's the box and the planes in conjunction with trying to be like, okay, like, what the fuck, like, what is there, like, how does that work, like, why is there, how do I put an ellipse in there, what is a cylinder, oh dude, like, so it turns out when I try to draw a cylinder while visualizing the boxes and the planes, it's completely off perspective, right? Like, this is going that way, this is going that way, right? This ellipse, minor axis, completely off, it's going this way, right? Like, oh, okay, now that is the difficulty which I understand on where to get better at, right? Because I already understand the steps prior. Again, if you're trying to draw a fucking box, right, or you're trying to draw a plane but you don't understand that things converge, you're gonna end up drawing shit like this, right? And but the thing is, like, that's okay if you don't understand it. But if your goal is to put a fucking ellipse inside that, and I already, because I understand perspective, I already know like what I was trying to do, something like this, right? I already understand that this is the right perspective that the ellipse goes in. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you are struggling to make a plane that is accurate and follows a vanishing point and a current horizon line, and you don't even see the horizon line, right? And you don't see this vanishing point going down here, right? But you're trying to fucking put an ellipse inside of it. This is completely useless output regression, because you won't see this. Your brain will be so focused on this and be like, what the fuck? Like, where's it going? We need the vanishing point to go here. But because you're focused on this, you're spending your energy on the wrong direction, right? So this, if your plane is shit, then drew a good plane or a better plane. If your plane is shit, right, then that is your gap, right? Like there are sequential steps to get better at, right? So I hope that makes sense. When I say put a lot of effort and like, you know, you're supposed to not understand it, what I mean is you're supposed to not understand the thing you know how to understand, right? Like if you're trying to figure out how to put a cylinder inside a box, you know you need to see, right? You've understood the concept that you need to see a plane inside, an ellipse inside a plane and then project it outward, and you need to be able to see that ellipse, right? Project it outward and then the lines that connect them inside the box, right? Inside the box. You need to you understand that the only deficit is the hundreds of repetitions and hundreds of hours, thousands of repetitions, whatever. The many repetitions and intentional repetitions you need to do to bridge that gap to understand it how you can, right? But if you don't understand the box, it's useless. What the fuck is the point of thinking about all this, right? Like then you need to understand the box, right? And the presumption is that if you need to understand the box, then you can already draw lines that are semi-decent. So you can be like, okay, well, I know how to draw lines and I understand the concept of planes and convergence. So for me right now, it's more so just about like, okay, like let me visualize the plane. Let me really try to get the plane down. I get the plane, right? It's like, okay, but what about the box? Like which way is it going? And what you're focusing on is basically connecting three planes that have a shared perspective, right? So you need to be like, okay, that's a vanishing point there, that's a vanishing point there, my horizon line's here, right? Like how's this happening, right? That, like, so, and the blocker here is not your line, right? It's your understanding of like combining horizon line and vanishing point and planes that follow the same perspective, right? So it's all like everything can be broken down, but your limiting factor is in the fact that you don't understand line and horizon lines and perspective. You just don't understand how to combine it into a box that shares the same perspective. And then you move on to the fucking ellipses and the planes, and then you move on to like the multiple things. Like again, like it's all progressive, right? But the best way I can say this is you're supposed to be in discomfort at not trying to figure it out when when you have already understood the steps prior. Like I can see a box, I can see a sphere, I can visualize, I understand center planes, I understand all of that, but I don't have the mental model to combine all this fuckery together while form wrapping more fuckery over it together. But I understand what needs to be done. I understand the logic because I can do them individually. I can see, as you can see, right? Like I have broken each component down individually. I know what's going on. I just need to combine it, right? So if you know what's going on and you just need to update your understanding, that is where you want to be, like that extreme discomfort of trying to update your understanding, update your application while understanding, while visualizing, right? While rotating it like in different angles and all that shit. But if you cannot draw a box, then there's no point of you trying to draw a box. If you can't draw a box because you don't understand and you can't, if you're trying, how do I need to say this? I need to slow the fuck down. I apologize. I'm Viggy famming really hard right now. I am just being retarded. So, and again, I'm very passionate about this. So obviously I'm trying to get it out the right way, but all I'm squeezing is jizz and not wisdom, right? I'm squeezing jizdom, not wisdom. But that was a good joke. Very good. But I'll leave it at this, okay? The discomfort you're supposed to be in is based on the knowledge that you have, the knowledge that you can relatively conceptualize, and then the gap to bridge that conceptualized knowledge into tangible, crystallized procedural knowledge, like actual things that you can do. So you have knowledge that you know how to do. The next step is the knowledge that you understand based on the knowledge that you know how to do, right? And then trying to bridge the gap through hundreds and thousands of repetitions and a sheer intentional effort to make this thing, right, this concept, the new knowledge that you can do. Right? And then the next thing is and because now this is the new knowledge you can do, this new concept is easier to understand. So what does that look like in tangible terms, right? So I have the knowledge to draw lines. I don't have the knowledge to draw planes, which requires an understanding of horizon lines and vanishing points, right? This is no longer a blocker, my lines. Now I will do this for hundreds and thousands of repetitions, intentional repetitions. Oh, I get this now. Next is to combine those planes into boxes, right? Okay, I have the knowledge to draw planes and I have the knowledge to draw lines. Therefore, I just need to go through a fuck ton of trial and error, again, hundreds and thousands of repetitions, to understand how to combine these two pieces of knowledge to create this. I can conceptualize this, I understand this, I can do it. I can conceptualize it, I don't understand and I can't do it yet properly, but these two things are the puzzle pieces which will allow me to do this. Boxes, done. Now it's like, okay, ellipses in planes and cylinders. Well, I can draw planes with lines, not a blocker. I can draw boxes now. I understand how that works in many angles. Now I understand the concept of putting down an ellipse with the right minor axis inside a plane and a cylinder that follows the perspective inside the box, right? Okay, same thing, just keep going. But these are prerequisite knowledges, right? Prerequisite procedural knowledges, things you're able to do with confidence. And confidence is only built through evidence. And evidence is the repetitions and the effort you put in, right? Bars. But Yeah, I hope that helps. That's what I mean when I say like you need to be at the cusp of discomfort and constantly keep trying to figure it out. But you trying to figure something out is based on the fact that you can conceptualize it, you can understand it, you can break it down, but you can't do it yet because it's a combination of multiple things that you already know how to do, but you haven't spent the effort to combine those things that you know how to do for this new thing, right? So hope that makes sense. And that's basically and it's all spatial reasoning, so it all helps. At the end of the day, you're learning how to understand space in a 2D plane, you're understanding how to see through forms, you're understanding how to calculate, you're understanding spatial relations, you're understanding depth, you're understanding nuance, you're understanding proportion, all those things, which is why my practice that is this results in this when I've never drawn this before. I've just looked at it. I want to say that again. Your ability to remember and recall complexity is based on your ability to draw and imagine and create complexity, right? That's a huge thing that I've noticed is like, again, you know, Kim Jong-il could draw complex shapes. Yes, he was a master. Yes, he always like observed. Yes, he always drew from reference. All of those are true. But the better his ability to draw complexity and complex forms, right? From his mind, the better his ability to analyze. Not just anybody. And I think it's anybody, not just Kim Jong-il. It's clearly, in my experience, it's fucking true, right? So let me say it again, all right? From the experience of an average person who put all this effort in, your ability to recall, retain, and inform yourself and replicate complex forms is purely dictated by your ability to create and imagine complex forms and your ability to draw them, right? So the better you can draw and imagine complex forms, right? And be creative and create them and yeah, the complexity, like, you know, make them intersect, and this is not just with geometric forms, even though that's what I'm doing. That's just my current focus. This is with organic forms. It clearly applies to that. And I'll prove it when I get to organic forms. It's the same fucking thing, right? But the more complex you can design from your mind, right? And push the efforts of like how well you can design from your mind in terms of complexity, function, silhouette, all these things that real life has, the better your ability, it's a positive feedback loop, the better your ability to recall, understand, and retain the complex shapes that you see in a picture reference or in real life, right? It feeds into it. The better your ability to draw from life when you're drawing from life, doing a POV drawing, to understand the spatial awareness, the spatial reasoning, the 3D space that you're drawing, the shapes that you're drawing, right? They become chunked, complex forms or chunked forms rather than individual lines or individual components of the complex forms. They become an overall thing, an overall shape, an overall design that is familiar, not the same, but familiar because you've already put in all this effort to create your own versions of these random complex forms, right? Sometimes they'll overlap with real life things, many times they won't, but your ability to create complexity informs your ability to recall and replicate and retain complexity. That's my understanding. That's what I've been able to do. It makes complete fucking sense, to be honest. So like, this is just how I see it. And if anything, I'll just keep proving that, yeah, it's how it works, right? I'm sure there's fucking nuance in all of this, and you'll be like, actually, if you talk about it this way, like, shut the fuck up, okay? You know what I'm trying to say, all right? Like, this is not something that will be disputed. It's literally a fact. I have proven it through thousands of hours, or like almost over 1,000 hours of effort, and like my live streams, I've literally proven it, that I know nothing. I literally know nothing. I know nothing apart from line form and perspective, and improving my spatial reasoning and complex form, and yet, by looking at a jet for 20 to 30 minutes, and I can rotate it in my mind, understand the silhouette, the complex shapes, and create something that looks like a jet, right? I don't know how to fucking draw organic forms at all, but just because I understand forms in general, right, even though they're all geometric right now, I'm able to create something that looks like a kind of dragging like feature that looks relatively kind of organic, but there's obviously so many issues, right? But yeah, power of form. Form is the only fucking fundamental you need, right, to create realistic complexity and scenes. And obviously form is preceded by line and perspective, right? These aren't the only things you need, but these are the most important things you need. If your form is shit, everything else is just layered on top of shit, right? So with that being said, I hope you put a lot of effort in, right? Yap session, as the youngins say, for the last 15 minutes, but I just wanted to like explain things and like hopefully help direct you in understanding of why what you're doing has benefits and why it's important and why spatial reasoning is still the fucking #1 thing you can invest in when it comes to your art, right? Again, right now you'd be like, oh, but you could have done this, you could have done that. Shut the fuck up, wait 5 to 10 years and see how my amazing foundations will result in just picking up things from a visual library like that, just literally like that. Again, I'm 3.5 years in, I looked at a jet, I drew a jet. Okay. Right? Like, that's 3.5 years in, not even 10 years in, not even 13.5 years in, right? So, either you can shut the fuck up, wait and see, or shut the fuck up and enjoy drawing with me. Bars. Very good rhyme, Biggie, very good. Anyways, as always, I hope you put a lot of effort in, and as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please, give me money.